Well, I feel like I need a certain celebrity chef to turn up and call me an idiot sandwich here because I made a big omission with one of my January deadline day signings, which we'll find out about today. The other one is injured, in addition to a number of other injuries and suspensions, and we're back in the relegation zone with a win much needed. We're back slightly earlier than planned, but this is a proper six-pointer. Yes, hello and welcome along to part 53 of Saving Southend with me, Daniel. We are back today to face Nottingham Forest in a huge six-pointer. 7 points separate us, but crucially, we are two away from Brentford, and a win today would put us back above them. It's one of the few really winnable home games we've got left, and we've seen generally this season on camera against Southampton, against Wolves a bit later in the season as well. These are generally the games we've done pretty well. So if you're looking forward to seeing if we can do so again, despite a whole host of unavailable players, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. But before we go and get into any of the stuff that we'd normally do, before we talk about our fixtures, our results and all of that sort of stuff, I've got to show you my omission because you can see it here. Divin Obama is ineligible today. Now, I didn't realise this when we were signing him, and normally I'm sure there's warnings which we didn't have. Either that or I wasn't paying attention in my panic. But the bad news is, as well as playing for Preston, who we signed him from in mid-season, we also saw him play for Celtic for one cup appearance off the bench earlier in the season, an early League Cup tie that was. So as a result of that, Divin Obama has played competitive football for two professional sides this year. And you all know what that means, don't you? He's not allowed to feature for us. So we've now signed a player for over £1 million who cannot feature for the club this season. Will feel like a lovely new signing in the summer, but doesn't help us now, particularly when you see one of the other big injuries we've picked up again. We've also got an injury to our other new signing, Luis Enrique, but he did have a moment of magic that proved he was a worthwhile signing before it. And there's a few other key players out as well. Anselm seems to be getting red cards for lunges galore this year. Joe Hugill has come out again after returning from injury. And Adeniji is still not back from a long-term one he picked up, I think, just after the last episode. So let's go and have a look at the schedule and see what's been going on. Because we played 6 games, we won the first of them, and it was a magnificent moment for a new deadline day signing. But since then, we've really fallen off the wagon. We picked up one crucial point, but aside from the two teams below us, we've not looked like getting a result. And the fact that we're hemorrhaging goals now is a big concern for me, given how close we were and competitive at the start of the season. So you were with me for the big win against Wolves. We then beat Bristol City in a really poor game. We didn't offer much, we didn't have many chances, but Luis Enrique came off the bench, as did the unhappy Sonny Perkins, and both pops up with late goals. And to be fair, Henrique's was a moment of magic, a shot, forced to save, headed in the rebound. And Perkins was forced into the target man role because of the injury to Presley. We were running out of strikers, and we have struggled when we've had injuries this year. But he scored the goal to avoid a nervy stoppage time and give us the 3 points. At home to Liverpool, we lost by 3-1. Ishmael equalised halfway through the first half, but it's about the only positive we had in that game. This one, though, felt like a big point. Coventry away, we were 1 down after 3 minutes. We fought back with Diogo Fernandez. We got an injury to Luis Enrique, which meant Anselm came on early. And for the second time this season, he lunged into a stupid tackle, despite never being sent off before, despite having a model citizen personality and doing everything right off the pitch. And he's now decided that he was going to fly into that. So suspended for 4 games for his second violent conduct red card. And that meant we were without him. At the same time, we had crucial injuries out wide and up front. Didn't help, I've got to be honest with you. As a result of that, we had to rotate a bit when it came to League and Cup the following week. We lost 2-0 at home to United. It was very comfortable for the visitors. And Dan Rose, as you can see, was still our best player from the starting 11. Away at Spurs in the Cup, we rotated and it showed. We lost by 5-1. All 6 goals in that game came in a 20-minute spell. It was really weird. Went 2 down just before the break and then threw it away early in the second half, but Mirko Tanani did return from injury with a goal. And against Tottenham in a league 3 days later, It was a very similar outcome, as you can see. A 4-0 defeat, another injury for Joe Hugill, some poor performances elsewhere. We just got battered, and it's starting to become a bit of a theme. It's what worries me for the rest of this season when you consider we play away at Chelsea, home to City, away at Arsenal, Newcastle at home are doing well, Villa are up in 8th as well. We've not got many home games left against teams that might be in and around us. Leeds are 14th, and today's opponents Forest are 16th, Everton are 10th. I mean, we've only got 2 left at home against bottom half teams, and to have any chance of staying up, I feel we've got to win them both. When you compare, by example, to what we had in a Twitch save with Luton Town the first season, we stayed up on 28 points. Brentford are only 2 off that already. So this is going to be a tricky run-in for us. I'm not sure we're going to be able to do it, particularly given the key injuries. And we've also got a lot more problems off the pitch now than we've had in recent seasons, which perhaps is a bit of a problem with losing games. It's not really understood in FM that you're playing at the higher level. It's just, nope, you're losing every week. The players are unhappy. And as a result of that, we've got quite a few players who are already saying they're going to leave at the end of their contract. That includes Andre Santos at the end of next season. We looked at one other, Anselm, who was in that boat as well. Joe Hugill has ended his unhappiness, but decided he wants 45 grand a week in wages. That is nearly 3 times our top earner, and I will not be doing that unless we stay up and he contributes massively to it, which at the moment, he can't even get himself on the pitch fit. And then we've also got the same problem with Goodrum, who wants 30 grand a week. There's a point where we just have to say, no, this isn't worth it, and maybe plan to rebuild the whole side, because we've got probably 10 players under contract for the long term. Loads of them have got relegation release clauses. Loads of them have got relegation wage drops. There's going to be a few unhappy if we go down. And I think whether we survive or not, we're going to see a very big overhaul of the squad this summer, because a lot of these, and I made the mistake 2 years ago in the Hemel save of offering some of those brilliant loyal players those bigger contracts in the Prem, and then they ended up being stuck there for years because they had poor reputations, they weren't good enough, and no one would then come and take them. So I might have to go against my usual loyalty and be a bit more clinical and ruthless this summer. For now, though, we need to find out what division we're likely to be in. We've got a few creeping back from injury, but Adeniji and Loftus-Cheek probably not going to be here before the international break. The same now for Hugill as well. So let's just go and get through to Forest at home and see the team we're going to be putting out. But this is a Forest side with a bit of quality. They've got Odson Edouard, they've got Marquinhos, they've got Sangare in there still, the likes of Murillo and Rodon at the back. Issa Kabore currently at Luton Town. We know how good he is. This is problematic, but the team we've gone for is about as strong as can be for a patched together side. We've got Daniel Rose in goal. Jarell Kwanzaa has moved out to right back because we've had real trouble out there in recent weeks. Lesnick has not performed well, covering on his weaker side. And Reece Williams at centre-half is a bit more physical, a bit more high quality, and it might be time to make that change. But that could be the reason we're conceding goals, because as well as losing our right back to injury, we've had to mess also with our centre-half partnership. So that's potentially a concern. Ishmael's at left back with Sam Amo and Tanani out wide. Tanani's been a real surprise this season, because not in a good way either. He's had 1 or 2 brilliant games, but generally he's been awful. You remember the first day of the season against Southampton? He absolutely tore him to shreds. Here, he's just not really been able to get going now. And even though he's a wonder kid, he's been really disappointing. We've got the January signing Harrison in alongside Santos, who's actually rated as well now. Good job too, because Santos, he's definitely going to be off this summer. Any sort of good offer above 20-25 million we have to take. I think he's got a release clause for higher division clubs, so if we go down, that'll probably get activated anyway. Then Aaron Presley is still having to do the job up front. He's popping up with goals. He's delivering as a target forward. Jayden Danns is back on the bench after injury, so can help with Fernandez's workload too. But no Joe Hugill was the problem, because he's our most clinical striker. Let's go and get through to Southend v Forest. I'll trade anything in the second game for a win in this one. So let's go and see how we get on here, as it is 3 changes for Eddie Howe's visitors. And they've still got a few good players on the bench too. Alanga and Hudson-Odoi from the originals. That Motoyoshi is a player we've looked at in this save and tried to sign. And then Harwood Bellis, we know from the Luton save as well, has been really good in FM24. Stuart Atwell, the referee, we need him to have a good game today. But look at the atmosphere in the dressing room. When's the last time we saw this with Southend? We've lost some of the big characters. We've lost a lot of the confidence. And we are getting into crisis stage now. A lot of them have reacted positively to that. But we need to get through the tunnel interview into the first half and hope Steve Tilson Park delivers a big one today. Well, the commentary so far, I know they're feeding off scraps because there's not been many highlights, but they've helpfully told us that it's a really crucial game at the bottom here as Murillo tries to play out from the back, and we hope that Forest get caught, but we've not got that same vigour in the press. Fernandez, he's not even in position. I don't know what he's doing as it works out to Marquinhos. If we lose this, I'm already at the stage of maybe admitting defeat, to be honest, as Marquinhos is in straight at Dan Rose. But if we stay up, and I look at this the positive way, if we can sneak up, there's people who I've got on a shortlist who could be really great replacements. I've got a potential goalkeeper from Scandinavia. I've got a potential winger from South America that could really add into this brilliant core of a squad. But we've got to find a way, and at the moment, confidence is low. As Fernandez in from the left to Sam Ammo, is it time for him to have a big game? Carries it across the pitch for Tanani, who's been so quiet this season, but he works his way in and then blazes over the bar. Oh, it's a glorious opportunity. And he doesn't even get near the target. Reece Williams has picked up a booking now, and Forest are dominating the stats. They've not had any great chances themselves, but they've certainly had a lot more of them. Will the pressure tell? Well, at half time, it is still goalless at the minute. This is the sort of game where we need to channel our inner distillery from last year. Just nick an ugly 1-0. And I'm not sure how we do it. I guess the positive is that Kwanzaa's playing well at right back. The negative is we've not got many other options in other positions. And again, the reaction from the lads, there's just not that confidence there. We need a goal. We need a couple of wins. And they're hard to put together here as Aaron Presley goes just wide. That was close. Great effort with not much space at all. Turned on his weak foot and almost put it in the corner. But will it be costly that he's missed? Because here come Nottingham Forest with Sangare. Into Barrios in midfield and Kabore. Big ball up towards Edouard, but Kwanzaa deals with it. And Harrison tucks in with the ball for Parker. Forced back to Dan Rose, and we're getting pressed here. I'm a bit worried about it. Reece Williams to Harrison. Playing well out of here so far. Santos to Kwanzaa. Up to Tanani. That's beautiful. We've worked out brilliantly. Tanani goes to Sam Ammo. Harrison cutting in from the left. He's forced wide. In the box he goes. Back to Sam Ammo. It's in off the post. I thought he'd missed it. I had my head in my hands already. But Sam Ammo has turned up with a big moment. Harrison sets it up, the January signing. That little bit of quality we've added in on the ball. But how long is it going to last? Because it's a Forest free kick and it's not away yet. Though Sam Ammo hoofs it downfield. Murillo will get there first and it's back forward to Alanga. Off the bench with bundles of pace, and they've got quality on the right as well. The Sangare goes wide to Joe Roden. He's got free rein to run into the space. Nobody's going with him. Roden towards the byline. Sam Ammo closes down. But it's back to Marquinhos, who cuts in. This is perilous, but it's just over the bar. What do we do in terms of changes? Because again, look at the stats. Tanani is having an absolute stinker. I'm tempted to put him back to a support duty just to try and help out, because going forward, he's offering nothing at the minute. We've had one shot on target and we've scored it. We're apparently going to smash and grab Forest as it stands. We certainly don't deserve the result. But what I'm going to do here, I'm tempted to put Kwanzaa centre half because Williams is booked and I want to go for the strongest partnership. That really worries me putting Lejnik at right back. I'm going to do it though. Trust your first instinct. We're also going to take off Tanani for Tyler Goodrum. We're going to take off a very tired Sam Ammo, although I've got nothing to bring on. Might even be Stephen Parks as a wide midfielder, but I'll leave that a few minutes. Presley's nervous. Fernandez is knackered. I'm going to bring Jayden Dans on for Fernandez. I think we leave it there. 3 changes so far. 12 minutes to go. Can we nick the ugliest 3 points of the season from our only shot on target? There's 5 to go. We're going to take Sam Ammo off. 4. It's got to be Stephen Parks there. Extra bit of height. Extra bit of defensive mindset. And then as we get to stoppage time, of which there are 8 minutes added on, I'm going to make one more, I think. We've got 5 of them remaining, and I can't wait any longer. We're going to bring off Aaron Presley for PJ Smith. And then what I'm going to do here is go as backs to the wall as you can. We're going to get the fullbacks on defensive duties. No committing forward for you. We're playing this as if we want a 0-0. PJ Smith will go in the midfield. Santos will go in as the holding midfielder. And he'll be a deep line playmaker on defend. Could even be an anchor man because he's not terrible in the air. Yeah, I'm going to put him as an anchor man. Just forget all your Brazilian technical qualities and be an old-fashioned British sit in front of the back four defender for now. We're going to go deep line playmaker for, I think, PJ Smith, and then Harrison. You can go centre midfielder. In fact, we'll just leave it like that. I mean, what's the harm? Let's sit them all back. 2 deep line playmakers, an anchor man, 2 wingers. And then Jaden Dan's back and up front on his own. We're going to time waste all the time. We're going to play for set pieces. We're not going to run at the defence more. We're going to slow the pace down. And we're going to beg that we hang on for an ugly 1-0 because this is crucial. It would take us back out the relegation zone. And it is about to. If I celebrated too early, I haven't. Southend 1, Nottingham Forest 0. An ugly win. We managed to level the stats up near the end, ironically, despite time wasting our backsides off. But Harrison with the assist, Sam Ammo with the goal. Just about the biggest win we've delivered this year. A very rare clean sheet. Not that we deserved it. And a bit of an FM in to start us off. But as it stands, we are 17th again. We are 1 point away from Brentford, who are below us, with a slightly better goal difference. But that advantage has gone recently. But then the crucial thing, I guess, is Forest and Southampton are just 4 points away now. Can we pull them back into it? Make them look a little nervy? The bottom 2 are gone, the 2 that came up with us, which shows we've competed well. But this is going to be a photo finish. The problem we've got, well, next week we're against Chelsea, I think. They're up in 5th fighting for the Champions League. It's going to be a little bit trickier, isn't it? That's the game we're going to go for next time. Of course, probably our biggest win so far was a 3-2 home one against Chelsea. We'll be back in a moment to see how we get on. Hopefully, we can back it up. But back-to-back wins, very hard to come by at our level. Well, it's fitness test time, and still Henrique and Adeniji are not fit. But we have got good news on Andre Santos. He's really reaching his potential now, becoming that star we knew he could. But we know if we go down, he's going to be sold for 22.5 million, whatever it was. Yep, exactly that. He gets 15% of it as well. And if we stay up, we'll probably try and get as much as we can because he wants to go at the end of his deal next year. For now, though, we've got to try and get a result against his former club, Chelsea, after beating one of his former clubs, Nottingham Forest. So can we do it again this time? It's a huge game because these sorts of ones, we say they're a free hit. But at this point, anything we can get is a bonus. And Chelsea are the side that matched us up best this year and gave us an opportunity at home. Who have Brentford got? They're away to City. So in theory, we both should be getting beat. Look at the tactic they're playing though. They're playing 4 up front. I think I'm going to go to the back 3. Back in a minute when I've changed my tactic. Well, I'm hoping today that despite changing style and formation, that we've kept most of the team in and they're going to deliver. We found a way to get PJ Smith in at right wing back, which is an area he can play naturally, albeit not as well. He can't tackle and he can't cross, but we'll gloss over that. And we might try him in an inverted role, depending on what Mudrik's doing. But this is the team we've gone for, and the other 10 are exactly the same. I've dropped Diogo Fernandez. It was close between him and Tanani, but Tanani's been dropped for the international setup. He's got a point to prove, and he's in a different position now, so I want to give it a try. It means Kwanzaa has tucked into a back 3 of central defenders with Parker and Williams. We've got Smith in on the right with Ishmael on the left. Same 2 in centre mid, same 2 out wide, and Presley on his own up front. Let's go and see how this one gets on. Away to Chelsea, and any result other than a defeat would be a huge bonus in the battle for survival. Well, it's 5 changes for our hosts today, who have dropped out the likes of Makoko, Fernandez, Colwill, Chalabar, and brought in another assortment of multi-million talent. So let's say there's no pressure on you. Go and enjoy this one. The reason I'd love to get a point or just sneak something is just to keep that morale up. To not go, oh, we've then gone and lost our unbeaten run. Can we extend it now? I'm not sure it's going to be easy in this one, but anything is a bonus. Oh, and Kunku's got an early free kick. Dan Rose makes a good save. The lads are still confident at the moment, but it only takes 1 goal, and already it's starting to feel inevitable. In the home game, we flew out the traps. We went 2-0 up. Then Chelsea came back. We go 1 down. Nothing's happening here as Nkunku forces another corner. Still all Chelsea. Still dominant early on. We're going to have to be very switched on in this game. And I'm not sure we've got that in us for 90 minutes. As the cross comes in, Caicedo's header. Oh my God, how has that gone in? Rose, Ishmael, Rose. It hit both of them multiple times. The whole reason I have 2 players on the post from corners is so that doesn't happen. And he's literally just watched it going off him. That is scandalous. He had about 10 seconds to react as well. Really, really poor. And now we're 1 down and we're almost getting caught playing out there. Williams goes back to Rose. Not the best pass. Big ball up towards Presley, who should win the flick on. But no one's there. Caicedo's got a free rein. Gets it to Nkunku. Through to Datro Fofana. It's 2-0. It's game over. If this isn't ruled out for offside, we might as well pack our bags because it's the one problem I've got. Against the top sides earlier in the season, we were gutsy. We were keeping it to 1-0, 2-1, 3-2. Now we're getting absolutely tanked. It's really hard to watch. And it's something we're going to have to shore up next season. We're finishing week. It's the usual end of season blues. Forest, as you can see, are beating Wolves. They're a side that were getting dragged into the battle. And now we're going to need City to do the job against Brentford because that's back to Mudryk. Again, why are you not marking the edge of the box from corners? How was that resurfaced? Why, when we're lacking in confidence, does that corner thing resurface every time? I don't know how many times I've set it and how many times I've not changed it. But as soon as you're struggling, they just stop marking it. As Sam Ammo gets the ball in. Dizassi away as far as Williams. He finds Santos. Good ball wide to Smith. Can we get a lifeline? God, that touch is diabolical. I know you can't cross or tackle, but your first touch is supposed to be your strength, as is your passing. And both of those facets there were terrible. Andre Santos gets away with a foul and Nkunku breaks away. It's not going to be our day, is it? Chelsea have only actually had a few shots on target, but we've made them look very good in this half. As Tanani will break away. No, he doesn't. He gives it away to Mudryk. Sam Ammo loses out. That one hits the post. Dan Rose is having a bad game back there. Definitely, if we do survive, needs an upgrade next season. We've not got a goalkeeper of Premier League quality, which we knew in the summer, but we couldn't find someone. I've got one potentially for next summer, but it will rely on us being a Premier League club. And that's touch and go at the moment. It's half time. It's not a good display. It's probably game over. I'm going to say relax and enjoy yourselves. I'm going to bring Cameron Ishmael off because he's having a stinker. We'll bring on Lejnik for him. And I think we'll leave the rest for now. Tanani again is having a poor game. Really infuriating me. Because he is by far the best player at the club, but he just will not deliver. It's 1 game in 6. It's 1 game in 7. And that's not enough for us at the minute. Chelsea have only had 3 shots on target. It's not been a dominant display. But we've looked no threat at all, if I'm being honest. And with just over half an hour to go, or just under, I should say, I'm going to bring on Jayden Danns up front. I'm going to bring Fernandez on the right. And Selmon on the left. We'll see if he can avoid getting sent off today. And I'll put Jack Morehouse in the middle. Give Santos a rest. Because those games at home where we want to get on the front foot, we're going to need him fit. I didn't mention as well, as Wolves have done a favour and turned it around against Forest. Loftus-Cheek, first training session back from injury, got injured for another 2 weeks. So I think we've seen the end of him now. As Anselm gets in from the left, can he make a big redemption story? Oh, he might do. Back from a 4-game suspension for a second red card of the season. And Anselm's got one back. Chelsea 2, Southend 1. If we can keep it like this till the last 5, we'll have a real go. But it's Chelsea straight down the other end. It's poor marking from a set piece and Rose makes a good save. We are so poor defensively. Now the big question here, do I go 4-4-2? We've got the players on to do it. I feel like I might. But equally that could carve us open. So let's just encourage. Let's go attacking. Let's throw the ball in the box to Jayden Danns. Let's get the other 2 up with him. And let's see if we can nick one. Ultimately we may concede another. I feel at this point we've got to go for points rather than goal difference. As Dizassi down the right to Angelo. Good football. Just showing a little bit, but then not getting it enough to be nicked. As Datro Fofana gets in. We can go back to balanced now. That's game over. Who knew these Chelsea players were so clinical, eh? I thought they only did that against championship teams. 3-1 is the score. They're brilliant in front of goal. And Fofana is the star of the show. You can see Dan Rose's rating. I mean, I'm not sure that he's at fault for more than one of them, which was the Ishmael own goal, but it's not ideal. And I think he's going to have to be the first one replaced this summer. It's a 3-1 defeat against Chelsea, but I said it at the start, didn't I? I would trade any result in this game for a win against Forest, and we got it. We got 3 points on the board. We ended the winless run, and we're still out the relegation zone as it stands. What we're going to do before we finish off, we're going to skip ahead to the midweek fixtures because Brentford are playing at City, and we might even have our youth intake by then as well, which, a reminder, is expected to be pretty good. So we'll be back in a minute, maybe, to see it. Well, we've just had our youth intake, and it's kind of annoyed me a little bit because one of the things I've relentlessly worked on, and those of you who have followed this channel for years will know I always do it in One Club Saves, is I surround myself with the best possible staff. We work hard to make sure we've got good judgment, we've got good personalities, and we've got a strong and deep team. Now, we've had a good intake promised to us for years, and I know it can go wrong occasionally, but this one is an absolute joke. No one with more than 2-star potential, no one with more than 1-star ability. That bit I can kind of understand. But given the fact that we were told this was going to be a good intake, a 4-star intake at that, to only get a 1-star one is pretty embarrassing. For quality staff at that level and so many of them to get it that wrong is a real worry and concern for me. We've got a few different nations in there, a Portuguese centre-half with a German name, that's interesting. And the best one looks to be a right winger who is unambitious. So I think it might be time to fire the head of youth development for doing me wrong. We'll get a new better one in for next year. A few of the lone players are doing well at the moment. It's not a great intake though. So let's hope we can finish with more positive news when Brentford travel to City on Wednesday night. Here is the moment that will decide whether this has been a good episode or not, I guess, because that win against Forest took us out the relegation zone. The City have let a few people down this season. They're in 6th place. They're well adrift of the top 5 battle. Can they do the job against Brentford? If Brentford get a result out of this, we will be gutted. Well, it's only just, but Manchester City win it by a 1-0. Crucially, Everton beat Southampton by the same score, so they stay just 4 points above us. It looks like maybe it's between Brentford, us and Southampton if one of us can drag them into it. For now, though, we've got to do our job, and as we mentioned earlier, that was one of 2 games left at home to a bottom half side. It's not going to get any easier towards the end of the year, but at least we made a better fist of it than Bristol City, who are still yet to win in 29 games. I didn't even notice that. Let's have a look at the schedule, though, for what's remaining. I mentioned the penultimate game of the season, and we are going to come back for the final 2, unless there's a big storyline before. Because look at that second from last game. Brentford away, currently 18th v 17th. Luis Enrique, of course, will be ineligible. Shane will just about be fit by then. But that game, you've just got the feeling will decide it. Who's going to be outside the relegation zone at that point? What way are we going to have to set up for it? Can we win the games like Leeds before then? Maybe get something off a Sheffield United, an Everton or a Leicester. Most importantly, can we still be above Brentford when we get to that game? If we are, we've got a chance. But it's going to be a very big photo finish this season. I feel it's going to go to those final 2 games. And I think we're going to have a blockbuster one next time out. So hopefully you'll come and join me for it. But if you enjoyed this one, please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know down in the comments whether you think we do it. And will there still be plenty to play for when we get to that one next time out? If you want to stay up to date and find out the answer, subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We'll be back in a couple of days' time to finish off the season with a big double header. And my word, Premier League survival is well and truly on the line. In the meantime, we'll be back with the head coach tomorrow. You can find that playlist up in the eye above if you've missed it, as well as our most recent experiment from Sunday, our guide videos, the football podcast, and the Twitch channel too. Thank you very much for watching as always. Your support has been absolutely brilliant. And I'll see you back here next time. So I'll need you to be the 12th man. That game against Brentford might end up being the biggest one in the save.